The Final Fantasy Tactics Remake is here, and so many are excited to jump back into Ivalice and begin building up new characters and builds to see just how many different ways you can fight through the story and dominate your enemies. But as with every game with a deep and flexible character growth system, we can sometimes find ourselves overwhelmed with the sheer madness of the math and possibilities. Have no fear, however, this video is for you. We'll dive deep into the game's leveling mechanics, covering everything from unit and job XP, to stat modifiers and growth, to even a speedy grinding mechanic, and more to get you where you want to be quickly and moving on in the story. So, the best place to start is with leveling itself. Leveling is tied very closely to the job system, as every gain of unit XP also comes with a gain of job points and job XP. While essentially the same thing, job XP continues to count down to the next job level, while job points build up and are a resource used in learning abilities. Every successful action on the battlefield will grant a unit XP, and job points. Unit XP will go toward increasing the unit's overall level and its own stats, while job XP applies only to increasing one's job level and giving you job points equal to the job experience earned to use in learning new abilities in the job being used. Whew, okay, that was a little wordy. So, for instance, if you have a squire perform a successful attack, it will gain unit XP for itself and job points for the squire job, as well as job XP toward the next squire level. It's important to emphasize that only successful actions will grant any XP. So for straight up leveling and grinding, it's best to use abilities like Focus that never fail. That's great, you say, you already knew that. Well, great. Then we have the foundation, so let's dig deeper. Let's focus a bit on jobs now. The first thing to consider when determining which jobs you want your early units to have is their bravery and faith stats. In general, higher bravery characters will be better physical damage dealers, excelling in jobs like knight, monk, or even archer, while higher faith characters will excel in being mages and magic users. This is because the monk job, for instance, will factor in bravery into its attack power, while certain weapons like katanas will as well. Units with high bravery will also have a better chance of using reaction abilities like parry or counterattacks. So any melee fighter build that will be taking hits will benefit from bravery. When it comes to faith, this stat affects the efficacy of magic, both healing and damaging. Units with high faith will have better accuracy and damage with attack spells and status inflicting spells, while also getting more healing out of healing spells. So it is important to reassign early jobs based on these two stats, as a low faith healer will become more and more inefficient unless you can spend time and effort to raise his faith later on in the game. One more caveat to mention though is that a unit with 95 or higher faith will actually leave your party, so don't let them get too faithful. Now let's talk about the two main job paths in the game, physical and magical, before delving back into stat growths. The squire will lead to all physical type jobs where high bravery will help, and the chemist will lead to all magical type jobs where faith is most beneficial. Knowing this will help you develop each of your units in the path that best suits them, and keep you from having to scramble to train up new units later on. Now, if you go into a character's job menu and then hit the Y button, on Switch anyway, I'm not sure what it is on the other platforms, but it should be visible at the bottom of the screen. This will give you the job tree and show you what level each job must be at to unlock the next, and which jobs relate to others, as well as you will sometimes need to attain certain levels in more than one job to unlock another one. This screen can help you plan out your character builds and get to the jobs you want faster. Okay, great, but how do I build my units with the stats that I want, you ask? Well, that's where things start to get tricky. You see, each job will give you stat modifiers that automatically bump up stats relating to that job. For instance, if you take the knight job, your physical attack and health will get a boost right away. Then, if you switch to the black mage job from the knight job, your health and physical attack will take a nosedive, but your magic attack will go up. This is because the stat modifiers for each class or job simply apply a times 1.5, for instance, to one of your unit's base stats. In order to actually grow a unit's base stats, that unit must level up. However, what stats are increased and by how much are directly related to the job that unit holds when it levels up. So back to the knight and black mage example, a unit with the knight job will have its base stats of health and physical attack increased a decent amount, while stats like magic attack may go up very little or even none at all depending on the knight job's actual growth rates. The Black Mage, on the other hand, will gain significant increases to magic attack and MP stats with little to no increase in its physical attack power. These stat increases will, however, permanently alter the unit's base stats, making other job stat modifiers more or less effective when you switch jobs. Basically, if you want a hard-hitting melee unit, keep them in high physical attack jobs, otherwise their physical attack stat will be diluted and not get as high as it would have been at any given level. Now, just as a quick reference, here are some examples of different jobs with high growths in various stats taken directly from the game's Chronicle tab. The information on this tab, by the way, is a great resource for helping understand many of the game's mechanics, and is where not all, but a lot of the information in this video is coming from. Now, I may do a more detailed min-max discussion on character building in a later video. However, if that is something you guys would like to see, let me know in the comments. I mean, really bomb the comments full of min-max discussion, and I'll make it happen once I've had more time to play through more of the game and do some more research. But I need to know you want it. Also, like and subscribe, as every successful channel engagement helps me level up in the YouTuber job and unlock abilities like deeper research, better editing, and I can actually afford clothes and food now. So, having covered how leveling units and jobs work and how different jobs affect stat growth, let's talk about a great way to quickly level up and grind when the story gets a bit too tough or you really just want to unlock a certain job or ability. Now, for veterans, you'll probably be well aware of this leveling strategy, or even maybe have another one that works a little bit better or differently. If so, please share it down below. However, for anyone new to the game or who likes to play more casually, this will really help speed up the grind when it inevitably hits. The first thing to do is put all your characters on the Squire job, maybe leaving one as a chemist if you need healing, or just assigning the chemist skill set to one of your squires as their secondary skill set. Then grind job points until you unlock the JP boost passive skill on all your units. This skill gives a significant boost to job points earned and is essential anytime you are grinding levels. Just make sure you equip it after you unlock it. Once you obtain this, grab the focus skill next from the Squire abilities. This skill can be used at any time and is always successful, meaning you always gain unit and job XP from using it. Once you have these two abilities, you're all set. Simply go to a map like Mandalia Plains and sit in your starting area using focus on every unit until the enemy units actually reach you. Once they reach you, you can fight them, or if you can weather their attacks, just keep using focus. Doing this will often have you come out of just one battle with enough job points to unlock the next ability you want. Now, a couple of things to consider when doing this. Make sure that whatever job you are trying to build up, you equip the fundament skills from the Squire job as your secondary skill set so you have access to focus, and also make sure JP boost is in your unit's passive slot. Also, whenever a unit gains job points, all of your other units on the battlefield will gain job points for that unit's current job at a rate of 25%. So your knight will gain 5 chemist points whenever your chemist gains 20 points from an action they just took. Using this knowledge, you can still level up unused jobs for other characters by having them work with units that have these jobs. This applies to job XP as well, so units can actually level up in jobs that they never use. This is a handy trick to use if, for instance, you want to super level a certain job on a character. Just give everyone in the party that job, and your units will earn job points at essentially double the normal rate, assuming everyone acts successfully every turn. One last important note is that job points are only earned for the job assigned to a unit. So even if a knight uses a chemist skill like potion, the job points earned are still knight job points, not chemist points. I hope this clears up some of the beefy mechanics behind leveling jobs and stat growth for you. Again, for the veterans, this all may be very redundant, but for all the new players or even those who just forgot how a lot of this works, I hope this was helpful. If you did find the video interesting or helpful, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more Final Fantasy Tactics and other Tactics games content. I am currently streaming a playthrough of Final Fantasy Tactics right now on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so make sure to hit the bell icon after subbing so you can be notified when I go live. I'll just leave this here so you can check it out if you like. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and keep on gaming.